Hi friends, it's Terry Stewart, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in the U.S. in Central Maryland. So it's September and we have another bundle bonus. This time we're looking at the Nests of Winter, which comes from the new mini catalog, the September to December, what we call the holiday catalog. So my project features the winterly treetops, has these cute little birds. So let me show you what I have made. So this is the winterly treetops bundle. It has some bird images, it has some greenery, the little sprigs, and some really nice sentiments. The one we're using today is A Friend Like You Brings Me Happiness, along with this bird image and this pair of birds. I kind of feel like they're friends. And then there is the coordinating dies, where we have the bough of green, some sprigs that matches the imagery in the stamp set. But then there's some other things. Has some boughs. It has this panel that cuts out, and then the sprig over here matches this. And the trick to this is it layers on top. So you have the stick that goes, and then the little willows pop out. Anyway, super cute. Oh, you could, so I am going to be die cutting in my project. So let me get out this. This is the single bird with some berries. And let me show you my project real quick. So here is my card. And it features, like I said, that bird, that single bird, but also the pair of birds. Now this Hello Friend comes from the Country Birdhouse stamp set, because look, we have a little pop-up. There's a little bird coming to say hello. A friend like you brings me happiness. So it has a little surprise inside, which I liked. The paper, this DSP, is in the suite, and I will show you that at the end. Stick around and we'll do a little quick catalog tour and talk about this. But it has this birch image, another tree-like image. So let me show you what we're working with. So here are some of the things I've already cut to measurement, and if you check with the demonstrator who invited you to the bundle bonus, they have a PDF with all the measurements. So if you're one of my customers, if you order this bundle, the Winterly Treetops bundle, I will send you the PDF that has the ingredients for this, the measurements for this project, along with others that my fellow demonstrators have made. So you get a whole tutorial or pictures and measurements that you could use to make many different cards. So here's my card base. It's copper clay. It's a regular card, half a card sheet, half a piece of cardstock scored in half, a piece of basic white that layers in, a piece of DSP that's cut 2 inches by 5.5. And then we have the mechanism for that little pop-up. Now this is a 6.5 inches by a 1/2 inch, and I scored it at 1 inch, 3 1/4, and 4 1/4. But again, check that PDF from the demonstrator who invited you. My customers reach out to me and I can give you all the measurements. And then, so those are all the pieces that I've cut. And then we have to do some die cutting. So I'm going to cut 2 of the bird images, and then I'm going to use my Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm going to use the second largest, and that's going to be in this gray granite, and then the third largest in the white, and then I'm going to do this, it looks like a bow tie to me, in gray granite. So those are the die cuts we'll need for this project. So let me go to my cut and emboss machine Well, actually, before I do that, let me stamp this bird image because I need two of them. I need one for the outside and one for the inside. So I'm going to ink them up with Memento ink because I'm going to be coloring him using my Blends alcohol markers. And when you use Blends alcohol markers, you need to use a water-based ink. And the Memento Tuxedo Black is a water-based ink. So there are two birds in Memento ink. And then I am going to cut those both out in a stylish shape along with my gray granite. So off to my cut and emboss machine. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back with my die cuts and I am going to do some coloring with my blends. So I'll put these shapes aside. So these are the markers that I'm going to, my blends markers. I have Daffodil Delight. I have Balmy Blue. And these come in combo sets. You get a light and a dark with them. Calypso Coral. I have Crumb Cake. And my Night of Navy. And then I also have a color lifter. So, I've already colored one of these off camera, so you didn't have to watch me do it twice, but I was going to show you what I did. So, I am using the light Night of Navy, and I'm going to use the bullet end tip, the blunt tip, and I'm going to color these berries in. So getting close to the line, but hopefully not going over. And I am not using the dark, I'm just using the light, but I am going to use my color lifter. And just at the tip of these berries, there's a little circle. And I'm going to take a little color off of there. Now it doesn't do it instantly. It's not like an eraser, but it does fade, so you can see now that a couple seconds have gone by. Hopefully you can see that the ends, those little circle ends, are a little bit lighter because of my color lifter. And I'm going to color the little twig with my light Crumb Cake. I'm just going to go over that very lightly. And do the branch. Now, if I had thought about it, I should have colored these before I sent them through the die cutting machine, because then I wouldn't have to be holding his tail while I'm trying to color the branch and the other pieces. So, that is the light Crumb Cake. And now the dark Crumb Cake, again, I'm using that barrel tip, and I'm going to put some shading in where the stamp on the branch is, just to give it a little bit of definition. And I'm going to use the dark Calypso Coral and do the beak. And these are very small areas, so that's why I am using the blunt end on tip. And just barely touching, because they do bleed. Oops, that one's going to have a little bit of a big toe. A little overboard there. I can use my color lifter to try to take some of that away. It won't, like I said, it won't erase it, but it will lift some of the color out so it's not so blaring. And then we're done with that. Now for the bird, I'm going to start with my darker of the Daffodil Delight and hit these highlights that came with the stamp set. Just give a little bit of shadowing. And the good thing about the blends, you can go over and over again with them and they do not pill up. This is just regular cardstock. And then I can come with my lighter Daffodil Delight and go over that with a darker ink, and it kind of softens those lines. And as it dries, you'll see fewer and fewer of those lines from the darker. They kind of meld in together. And then for my darker balmy blue, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go over those highlighted stamp lines. And this will help with the shadowing, giving it some shadow. And then do the whole wing. And I will go over this with the light balmy blue. And that will help soften more lines. And here's my light balmy blue. I'll go over the wings and that softened area, and then kind of butt up to that yellow, the Daffodil Delight, going around the eye carefully and around that little twig carefully, and then filling in. So you have to hold his tail so he doesn't move. So it would have been easier if I had colored him before the die cutting. And there is our little bird with a yellow belly, and we're done with our blends. So now we're ready to start stamping the rest of our project. So we're going to wait for the inside for a minute, and here's my card base, and I'm going to fold that on the score line, and then bring in my bone folder and just crisp up that score line. Now this is where we're going to stamp the pair of birds, and I'm going to do that in copper clay, which is the same color as the card base. So this is a tone on tone. Let me ink this up. Now in my sample, I had these pair down here because I kind of wanted the Hello Friend to see that pair together. To do that, I'm going to start stamping down on the bottom and put that pair down here, so it's just below the Hello Friend. And then let's stamp this one off. Stamp there, and then these up here. So I don't have to worry about the left-hand side of the card because that's going to be covered by the DSP. Now for the inside, this is where our mechanism is going to be. So to kind of give a rough estimate as to where I want my sentiment, if our bird is here towards the top, the sentiment should be here, underneath that. So I'm going to use Memento ink, and the Friend Like You Brings Me Happiness, and I'm going to put that at towards the bottom, probably in the bottom third of my insert. Straighten this up, and that looks about right. Give it a press. That looks perfect. Okay, so our inside is done, and the other thing we want to stamp is our Hello Friend, and this is from the Country Birdhouses stamp set, and I want to put some twine. That's also in the Nest Winter suite. So since I'm putting that on the left hand side, I want to stamp my sentiment more towards the right. Perfect. And that's all the stamping, and now we can start assembling. So I'll be using my liquid multi-purpose glue to put this piece of DSP. You can see that willow pattern on the reverse side of this birch. Just very lovely. And I'm going to leave a little peep of just a little bit of the cardstock on the left hand side sticking out. I'm going to center my bird in this die cut, and I find that the die cut on the outside is bigger. I kind of liked it because even though the bird's the same, it seems to give it a little bit of depth when you change the size of the background. So it looks like the bird might be smaller once you open it. And let me tie some twine. So this is the Natural Tones linen thread that comes in the suite. We have it's a copper clay, maybe garden green. So for this, let me just get some of the crinkles out, some of that waviness, and just going to wrap it like 3 times around and then tie a knot. And I'll trim it up with my paper snips. I'm just going to leave a small little tail on that. Love the color of this, just so vibrant. Now I'm going to put some dimensionals. So this will be towards the top. We'll put our bird image towards the top, and then our hello friend at the bottom, so our 2 friends down here can be viewed. So let's put our dimensionals on our circle first. And I am the queen of dimensionals, so I may use more than other people, but I don't want my card to sag, the die cut to sag. So if we remove these covers, a little bit, a little static electricity, they're sticking a little bit. So towards the top and about in the center. And then this die cut, we'll only put dimensionals along the bottom. This will be a little bit back. So just along the bottom edge, I'll use my snips to cut some of these dimensionals in half. So on the bottom, and then we need one over on this side. Oh, I did it backwards. Put them on the top. Okay, so let's re-stick them. cover, or is that the, I think it's just the cover. That, and then we'll put a little bit of glue along this top edge to secure it to the circle die cut. And now we can take these covers off. And put this a little back so we can see the two birds, the heads. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and now we can move on to doing our insert with our pop-up. So let me open our sample so you can see what it's going to look like. So let's put our sentiment, our insert in. And just center this top, bottom, left, right. And this has been scored at 1, 3 1/4, 4 1/4. I'm going to just bend those on the score lines. And this is how we're going to do this. On the short end, the one that has the short end, this is where our mechanism. So we want to make sure that the circle doesn't block our sentiment. Go about there. So that is just above the halfway point. So we're going to bring this down and put some glue on that short tab. And put it right up to the score line, just past the score line. So we're going to go to the left of the score line, just left, and try to keep this straight across, and then close it. Give it a good press so that glue works and adheres. Nice. And then on this, on the remaining, it's going to go on the far side. Spread some of this out. I got a little thick there. And we're going to bend it though at the next, like so. So it's bent at the second score line. Glue just on the the long tab, and then close. Close our back panel. Glue did use out a little bit. And the way to fix that, when you have glue oozing out, is to grab your embossing buddy from your embossing additions kit and dab it on top. So wherever it's sticky, the embossing powder will get, or the anti-static powder will get on there, and you won't have any issues with sticking. Let's let our mechanism dry for a moment and complete our inside. So this circle is smaller than the circle from the die cut on the outside. So we don't want his tail to stick over. So he's going to stick over a little bit on the right side, but that is okay. We don't want it to stick off on the left because it'll get caught on the inside left panel. So let's put some glue on him and get him stuck down, and then our card is just about completed. him a good press. And then we'll put that right on top. So I'll put a little strip of adhesive liquid glue in here. And then center that. Give that a little bit of a press. And this will close. Another little press. And then, voila, there is our card. So as I promised, I'm going to let this sit out open for a minute so it can dry. And I'll do a little quick catalog tour. So the mini catalog, and on page 31, this is the Nests of Winter, which includes the winterly treetops, the dies, there's an embossing folder, the linen thread that we used on this project, some shimmer gems, and down at the bottom is the Nests of Winter DSP. And we used this birch pattern over here, and the reverse side of that is these little willows. So that's the mini catalog. And then from the annual catalog, our Country Birdhouse stamp set where we have this little hello friend is on page 50. And then towards the back on page 123, you can find the stylish shapes. They show you one here where it's been cut two circles to form this frame, but that's where you can find the stylish shapes. So here are the cards. Thank you so much for joining me for this bundle bonus. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll be notified the next time I go live with a fun project. Until next time, remember, stamping is fun. Bye.